What's up, guys? Zystral here, and welcome today to the... No, that's theft. That's theft. I'm not gonna do that. Hey guys, Zystral here from YellowCard Vanguard, and today I'll be teaching you guys something you probably already know, but didn't know that you know. You know? So, playing to your outs means identifying that there is a card, or cards, that can save your life in whatever situation you're currently in, then trying to set up your board or plays so that when or if you draw that card, you can get the biggest value out of it. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're playing Angel Feather and you're playing against Chaos. You're probably going thinking that, oh, you just use Nutrient Angel, it's easy. But let's say that they use Universe on you. You could choose to throw down that grade 1 or that grade 3 card in your hand. So, you know, it's giving you the least shield value, it's not going to keep you alive, you're not going to get to use it, whatever. But remember, you're looking for your Nutrient Angel. Now what Nutrient Angel will do is it'll unlock 2 cards. So if you draw in your next turn, you can unlock 2 of your circles. Probably the 2 front rows is what you want to do. This will activate your opponent's Chaos. So they'll be thinking, which one of these do I want to retire? So if you just throw in that random grade 1 does nothing card, then they'll see, okay, the other thing, that's this grade 2 that could attack me, or, you know, might draw him cards, might get in value. Let's retire that instead. If you call something like your Munkar, this very valuable card, and lock that instead, they go, oh, I don't want him to get the value out of this crit, the plus 5k, the draw a card, and then he'll leave this empty circle here. I'll retire that instead, and then I'll deal with this grade 2 later. Congratulations, you now have this grade 2 that actually does something. So playing to your outs, it may seem like taking a bad option in the short term for better options in the long term, but the whole point of it is that the reason these things are called outs is because they get you out of a bad situation. Because Gabriel versus Chaos is already pretty unfavourable, so that's why Nutrient Angel is just an out. Like, sure, it's a very good card, and you're relying on it for, in pretty much every other matchup for different reasons, but specifically in Chaos, it's what stops you losing the game. So you might only actually draw that Nutrient Angel 10% of the time, but that 10% of the time, it'll double your chances of winning. You know, if you just top deck another useless grade 1 90% of the time, but you don't set yourself up to abuse Nutrient Angel, that 9% of the time, you're going to be in a bad position. So it's all about just getting the most advantage you can out of what you're given. So now that that's an example, how do you play to your outs? Well, it's pretty intuitive, but I'd say that a lot of you are already probably doing this subconsciously, but it's always good to know how to practice it. So the first thing is, know your deck. Count what's in the drop zone, count what's in the damage zone, see what's in your hand. Just get used to thinking, what have I got left in my deck? Once you know what's in your deck, it makes it much easier to think about where to go from there. If you just know your list off by heart, know what your cards do off by heart, from there you can do that number 2, which is figure out what the play is. So you know what's in your deck. You know that you've run out of this card or you run out of that card. Which one is that? Do you want to top deck? What card is it that you could draw either right now or sometime down the line that will turn this loss into a victory? You're looking for the card that turns a bleak situation into something that basically isn't bleak. So, you know, like, let's say that, oh, I know I run this card out of 1 of, and it does this. Is this the situation that you play the 1 of for? Or this card you think, oh, this card's great, I have to play 4 of. Well, is it going to be good in this situation? This is where you think, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what he's going to do, therefore, what am I going to want to do to get through that? And then the third step is playing it out. So turning it from just a card you're drawing into the out it's become. So now you know what card you're looking for, which means that you probably know how it's going to win you the game, or how it's going to stop you losing the game. But how are you going to get there? So like I said, with the Chaos versus Gavril example, we've got, oh, I'm going to put down this bad card instead, so that when I draw my out, I actually have access to the good card that's being unlocked. Instead of saying, oh, I'm just going to throw in this nothing, which then they'll leave and play, and then they'll retire my good card. So you give up the good card in the meantime, and that's playing to the out. But sometimes the out won't come immediately. Sometimes you need to plan 2 or 3 turns ahead. Sometimes you need to think, okay, if his deck is going to pull off its game plan, what am I going to do, like, in the meantime? Am I just going to sit there and twiddle my thumbs and hope the card miraculously fixes all my problems? Of course not. Like, no card is that good. Well, you know, it's just all about getting the skills into your favor. Like I said, you know, there's only a 10% chance you draw that card, but you want to make it so that when that 10% happens, you win the game. Not just 10% chance to draw the card, then 10% chance to win the game, then 10% chance to do something else. you want either to be a very binary decision, like I draw this card and I win, or I don't draw this card and I lose. It's not good. It's not good just to say like, oh, if I draw this card and then if this goes right and then I draw that card and my opponent doesn't attack and, you know, some other magical Christmas land shenanigans, then it's not an out and you're not playing to it. You need to be in a situation where you can get every amount of value you can out of every single card. Sometimes, and most of the time, that means that most of your cards aren't giving you any value, which is why you're looking for the cards that do give you value. And it's a lot harder to do in Vanguard because Vanguard's a very inconsistent game. You know, unlike Pokemon or White Shorts, you're not likely to see more than half your deck in a single game, you know, with some exceptions, which means it's harder to toolbox. So you're pretty much relying on, am I going to draw this card? Am I going to drive check this card? Rather than, okay, I can just like search for this card if I really need it. Another sort of, I won't say style of playing to your outs, but a very similar technique is considering your triggers. So for example, let's say you're playing a deck where all your stand triggers go back into the deck but your crits don't, and your opponent's on 4 damage. Would it make sense to attack with your Vanguard first, or your rear guards first? Well, obviously your rear guards, right? Because you attack with your rear guards, and then you can attack with your Vanguard, and hopefully drive check a stand, and then stand on your rear guard so they can attack again. Whereas if your deck's playing 12 crits, it makes sense to just attack with your Vanguard first. If they no guard, you stack all your crits on your Vanguard. If they guard it, you can stack all your crits on your rear guards instead. Again, like, this is not as bad as, you know, oh, I'm going to lose if I don't have this card. But it's the case of playing to what you know you have. If you know you have lots of stands in the deck, then you want to maximize the chance of getting the value out of that stand trigger. It's a very similar sort of concept. So that's it for this video. It's a bit of a short one, but it's a very complex theory that a lot of people don't seem to think about, and yet a lot of them do it subconsciously. So now that you know about it, you can practice it, and maybe you can do it a lot more often. Oh, and I almost forgot. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell button to find out when we next upload a video. But until then, Zystral signing out, and I'll see you next time.